This channel's voodoo magic is still on point. From previous video with this thumbnail with that stupid looking guy with yellow hair up there, that's the 4-hour RSI. Take a look at here in just a minute.
What Bitcoin has just fallen down to 39,500, it's statistically very improbable that Bitcoin is going to just bounce from that point. Rather, what's more likely is that it'll wick back below just a little bit or significantly before it's found a local low. So let's say it comes down to this point here, just a little bit below the origin line. And that is potentially when the 4-hour RSI will have started an uptrend.
Now let's check out how that 4-hour RSI got above its EMA, made a higher low as price was going to make a lower low. This video was made about on this candle right there that I'm pointing at. And the idea was that 4-hour RSI down here was still making lower lows. Therefore, it wasn't reasonable to think that that was a local low. In that video, I said the 4-hour RSI needs to get both above this EMA and make a higher low. And as it makes that higher low, you will then get your potential local low in price, which, as you can see here, right as it got above and made that higher low, that got that move exactly. And that lets you know that it has a decent chance of forming a local low, as opposed to that low did not have a good chance. That low and that low did not have good chances either. But this one does finally have a decent chance of being a local low. US traditional markets are closed today on Monday, February 21st. Tomorrow could mark a fairly decent amount of volatility, either going up or down.
This analysis that it could go up or down. I'm going to leave a really smart YouTube comment.
So in such case where you are expecting a move that could be fairly volatile to either way, but you don't know which way it's going to go, what we're going to do in this analysis is figure out what price is going to do in each case, so we know the exact candlestick signatures of what we're looking for, so we can be nimble and catch that move regardless of which direction it goes. That's the important part. Are you ready?
Hit the like button.
And subscribe.
Or else, let's go! My Discord community has been long aware of this master origin line and price's interaction with it, and on Twitter I've recently put posts on it. You can see here very recently this master origin line, zooming way in, has been the exact resistance point, and this line isn't like it's fresh. This is a 12-year-old line, is the most important line of all of Bitcoin history, and look at what Bitcoin price is doing relative to it on the small time frame. So far it's not good. However, what you can expect in general terms, if price goes down next week, is that in general, you'll either have straight up rejections from this line, more similar to this, or something that could be slightly trickier is that it gets above this line and then rolls through it and under. However, I would say that if it's going to be a bad week, you'll mostly get rejections, but what you could do is just take Bitcoin price history, something to this effect where price did roll over, and you might get a shape, something to that effect, where it bounces, and once it makes a local high, it never gets back above there on each lower time frame, like the 1-hour oscillation of the stochastics to the upside. The stochastics do not bring with it a new local high higher than whatever gets it above, and that would be your signature for it to potentially roll over. However, I think this would be a little less likely if next week is down. Rather, I think you're going to have more of the same of this fractal right here. It might keep doing something to that effect. And with global current events, there could be a very strong event that is both nasty for traditional markets, NASDAQ, Dow Jones, S&P 500 index, and that would bleed into Bitcoin. And you'll likely see Bitcoin do one of those two things leading up to either just a normal red or bad start off to the week in traditional markets, or potentially something nastier. But either way, it'll look like one of those two things, so I need you to be ready. What we're going to look at now is I'm slightly more biased to the upside because of the signatures we're getting with both the 4-hour RSI and the daily RSI making its first higher low after having gotten above its EMA, which I'll show you here in just a second. Something this channel talks about very, very heavily. I'm slightly biased to the upside. However, I'm going to show you that price path, what I think is most likely here in just a second. But just remember, even though on a personal level, I'm slightly biased to the upside, I know exactly what to look out for in the event that I'm wrong, and knowing that my bias to the upside doesn't have some crazy awesome statistical chance of being right. I think it might be slightly over 50%. However, if you had an operation and you had a 30% chance of dying, that's shit scary, right? With that, I think my bias to the upside might only give me a 60% chance or a slight edge, but the 40% on the other side to the other side is still extremely valid, and 40% is a huge number. Therefore, I must be aware of both up and down cases, which is why those noobs creating comments on YouTube like that are it just makes me smile every time. So now let's go look at what I would guess that Bitcoin's going to do over the next week. turn on your camera and microphone and ask me questions directly to my face live up to 8 times a week. Links to the Discord community within the description section of all my videos. Make sure to follow me on Twitter. I give constant Bitcoin and cryptocurrency updates. cosasverdes with the number 2 afterward, cosasverdes 2. And if online communities are not your thing, so you simply don't have the time to commit, but you want exclusive content above and beyond what I offer for YouTube, click the join button right below this video, and another video will pop up describing your options to you.
Give me that thumbs up. Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
This is my guess that I made way back here on February 17th before we found a local low. I posted this on both Twitter and I made videos on it. This is what I think is going to happen roughly until March 1st. The general idea is, and I think it was from the same video thumbnail where it said dump not done. I think I made that in that video. And I said the only question is how low this goes and how fast it goes up to try to test the weekly 10 EMA, which is represented by this red line that I've drawn in here. It's roughly on par with the weekly 10, and this line right here is the daily 89. They typically are very close to each other. This is what I think the next move is going to look like. However, I do strongly, so pay attention to what I'm about to say. In late February or early March, I strongly anticipate that Bitcoin will either get close to its weekly 10 and roll over just a little bit and then test the origin line yet again, or I think it could get up to it and wick to the daily 89 and get sandwiched between that purple and red line before then coming back down, before trying to get its feet under itself to try to make a jump on the first week of March. That's what I specifically think is going to happen. Let's see how it plays out. But let's dive into this chart and analyze it a little bit more. So now that it looks like we could have gotten the signature for a local low, which I'll show you here right now. So on this channel, we kind of have a rule. Whenever you have a down move and the daily RSI zooms above its EMA, you typically don't get your real local low until Bitcoin has both gotten above its EMA and makes a higher low that is specifically under that EMA. And specifically, it often makes a 45-degree angle, just like Price has the habit of doing, from its other low in a projector just like that. And we got that exact signature on the daily. And again, on the 4-hour, we also got the signature of a potential local low where your odds increase that it is a local low. Does it guarantee it? No, but it does increase the chances. It might be slightly better than 50-50. That's a local low. I don't know the exact odds, but it is much better than what price action was doing back here, which is why I was ranting and raving about it for so many videos. Now that we got the signature that the 4-hour RSI also got above its EMA and came back below it to make a higher low, so I'm going to flip back to the daily. That increases the chances that this also is going to be a higher low on midterm timeframes for the daily, and that price will have a chance to make a small rally here, and this RSI should be able to get plenty above this neutral white line here and work its way up maybe at least halfway to this green zone between the white line and the green zone. I don't see the rally being strong enough to take the daily RSI up to this green zone. However, I would give it a halfway point, something right like this. And I'll make a box there. I probably won't be able to leave the box there because it's going to annoy me on my charts. However, it's on this video. I would say the daily RSI will make its way up there as Price specifically, even though I'm on the 4-hour chart, but the daily should get up there as Price wants to wiggle up and get close to or touch or maybe even wick above the weekly 10. This is my main idea leading into March. And again, remember, the idea of you're having an operation, you have a 30% chance of dying, the idea that this is wrong still has a super significant chance that the master origin line simply acts as resistance and or price just gets on top and rolls back over. You need to really be concentrating on that line on the smaller time frames to see how price is interacting with it. And I really hope I've been clear enough with the idea that yes, it could go up or down, but why it's valuable to know this type of analysis so that maybe I'll get fewer noobs coming on here saying great analysis that could go up or down. I get it. It could, but do you see why this is helpful? I'm not ranting about this because it bothers me. I simply want to help those people. This should be helpful to you. Check out this playlist if you're newer to crypto and you want to do things like learn how to set up a chart like mine or know basic buying and selling strategies. Click this playlist right here if you want to get more familiar with how price moves, among the most important videos I've ever made. Click the circle in the middle if you're new to my channel and you haven't subscribed, and you just got Timified worldwide. Peace.